Hello, everybody, and welcome back welcome. It's not welcome back. It's not Wednesday, Friday, or Wednesday, Saturday, or Sunday. But I gotta say, yesterday I got the watch the new movie called "The Sound of Freedom." Well, is it actually new? It was originally made like 5 years ago. That but for some reason it got held up and then bought, sold. Studios being bought, sold, but and then they bought the rights back to the film. But I gotta say, damn good movie. It was. If it's not the movie, it's the best movie I've seen in years. There, or that's come out in the last few years, in my opinion, that I've seen there. Now everybody has different thing. Might not consider it their best movie, but and I will say, I gave Indiana Jones 5, The Dial of Destiny, a lot of shit because I had to read, or I was supposed to read the first 20 minutes of the film because it's all in German. And I normally absolutely do not like these movies just because I'm watching a movie to relax. But you're not relaxing in this film. If you want a film to watch to relax, this is not it. This is a heavy ass movie. And hey there, Germ, how's it going? And I will say to Professor Brainy Specs, who called me out on it the other day during Mikey Sue's Fours review or review of Indy 5, there about reading half the movie. I will say I'm start. This movie made me change my mind on that a little bit or a lot. Yes, you have to read half the movie because half is in Spanish, but it gave it some authenticity to it. Oh, there! Hey, you are here, Professor. So you just caught that. I might be wrong with the having to read half the movie. This movie has changed my mind on it. Is that good? Good there. And if you've seen it or anything, feel free to come on up. But I mean, uh, let's see. Professor says I prefer subtitles even English ones. I catch more with sub. Yeah, I guess that's true. And Resolute said never give Brady credit; it'll go straight to his head. Professor, hey Germ, hey, when I am wrong about something, I will admit it. There, that's the one thing that kind of shocks me at work and all that. When I say that, like when I'm at work, I'll say, "Hey, I fucked up," and they're all shocked. They're like, "Wait, someone admitted they fucked up?" But this I'll admit I was wrong on having to read movies. But we are all aware of the child trafficking problem that this has. I don't know how I could phrase that better for the YouTube censors. So fuck the censors, whatever. But oh but anyhow, we but I don't think we understand the scope and the money that's made into it. I mean, we're talking billions of dollars, and this was probably when billions of dollars meant something. Well, it still means something. I mean, I'm not, but back before inflation went really rampant in the last couple of years, because this was actually made 5 years ago, so it meant a little bit more back then. But and it starts out with a couple kids, in this poor ass village in Honduras of all places. Yeah, yeah, Honduras and Guatemala. That little triangle down there. Going to a town thing with some stranger. The the first when the movies first starts to get going, I'm like, who would fall for that? Who would seriously fall for that? But you know, the father was like, "Hey, this might be our way out of poverty." Then the person just said they take the photos of them, and them and the kids just disappear. And apparently, the United States is the most trafficked area place to send kids. But they get sent all over the world. But you got this agent who works for Homeland Security, Timothy Ballard. They sit there and they go after the people buying the kids, but they can't. But it seems like they can never catch up to the people who are actually selling them. And usually, you get the people selling them are the ones that can keep their records clean. And professors saying "LOL" to a germ. I'm guessing. I said, when I watched at home something I haven't seen before, I will usually turn on subtitles. I catch more of the dialogue and it keeps my interest more. Despite what a certain subtitles can be good for that. But I was only talking about foreign languages. Foreign languages. I work with a bunch of guys who only speak Spanish there. I do not know Spanish at all. So therefore I am forced to read this. And this guy, but in this movie, this guy manages to catch one guy. He managed to set this guy up relatively. Look too. Is it better now? Because I noticed that it froze up a little bit. Is it better now? Because we got some severe weather coming through right now, so we just had good 40-mile-an-hour winds. Well, let me know if it's fixed now, because it looks like I can highlight stuff there. Yeah, the internet flaked out for a second. But can you imagine if your job was to go after these people who are buying and selling the kids there, and you have to sit there and look at these tapes over and over again of these kids being abused? What the psychological toll must be on these people's heads there. And Germs is better now. And welcome, Captain Phantom Nerd. Welcome, hello. I'm just giving my thoughts on The Sound of Freedom. And I will say this is almost an absolute must see film. Too bad I cannot do it yet for any of my watch parties. Maybe once it becomes available, I'll do a special watch party just for this film. But yeah, I cannot imagine a job where I'm forced to sit there and watch these videos over and over again to write reports for the court system, and just think you fuck up one bit on your report there, the person has a good enough lawyer, boom, that person's set free. And I've seen that quite a bit, where the officer fucks up on his report, or he didn't get something quite right in his report, or he may have exaggerated something a little bit in his report, or some little thing, tiny little thing, and the person was set free because of that. But some of these people, it's because of this movie is why I am a strong proponent of the death penalty. There, not none of this 40 years behind bars. There's because some people that it doesn't bother them to be behind bars, especially if they're an introvert and they get thrown in solitary confinement. That might be the place to be for them. But hell, there's a lot of people. I seen this here. I was watching a show on was it Life Behind Bars or something, or it's one of those shows where they interview the inmates, and they talk to them, and the one guy said all my problems always happen. I've always gotten in trouble when I'm drinking. So when I get out of here, I'm just gonna have to stay away from the stuff. Well, his 45 days are up. First thing he did when he got out is he had his girlfriend or gal or sister or whatever, whoever it was that came and picked him up. First thing they did, made a beeline to the gas station, picked up a pack of cigarettes and a 40, and goes, I've earned this. I've had a rough 45 days. Yeah, I've heard this. And see, Jeremiah, I think part of the problem is we've gotten too soft on the penalty of the get 2 shots in the arm there. Should bring back some of the old methods. Scare the people a little bit. Just let them know that if you do this hands crime, you're caught. You're gonna suffer a little bit. Personally, that's my personal opinion. People might get pissed at that, but oh well. But they managed to he manages to get there is this is a little bit of spoilers in there. They managed to trick the guy into setting up a meeting to to arrange a meeting that get that one little like one of the traffic kid and all that, and they catch him at the you got to listen to George Carlin what he how he would do the death penalty. George Carlin's on the death penalty. Maybe I'll look. Maybe I'll should get that in this chat there. But yeah, they managed to catch the guy who was bringing the kid across the border and all that. And let's just keep this PG-13. They find out that that boy was abused. And at that point, I would not have been able to control myself on that if I found out that that boy was abused in that way just a couple days ago, most likely by the guy that they had caught. I wouldn't even wait for the damn trial, put it that way. But this film got my eyes glistening a little bit. And not many films can do that. Old Yeller didn't even do that to me. Yes, I felt bad that they had to put the dog down. But even Old Yeller couldn't bring a glisten to my eye. This film had a few spots that it did. And all these people just act like what they're doing is normal. And to some of them, it's just business. You know. But this guy, he ends up going down to Colombia to go and try to rescue these kids, and they found out about these sex clubs and all that. They're going to set them up on an island and that. And they talk them into bringing 60 some kids to the island. And, you know, and they bring them all there, you know, and they manage to catch this. But the one kid they looked for, the little boy's sister, was not with that group there. Apparently got sold to some rebel group that's across the river in Colombia there, and him and the other guy that he's with, they go down the river to go catch her. They do eventually find her and rescue her and stuff. But this whole movie was just so heavy, and it's just like, it gives you a mix of emotions. Like, you're angry, you're sad, you feel bad for these kids, you just want to wrangle someone's neck, but I don't think. But it's one of those subjects no one talks about, and that's what this film is getting people to talk about. Is the problem that we have, especially in these. There's no other better. I suppose you could call them third world countries, but the problem in these shithole countries where people are just trying to get out of poverty, and these people use that to their advantage of being able to kidnap these kids and sell them into slavery. There's more people that are enslaved today than there's ever been. Granted, our population's exploded since we found the use of oil and stuff. But so the percentages I don't even know. I'm not sure if the percentages of people enslaved are the same as because that's the one bad thing about your mathematics here is when people use the numbers that they feel works better in their favor. So if like for example the gun violence one, some people will say, well, so many people were shot in the city, but if you look at the per 100,000, it may have the highest number, but per 100,000 it could be ranked number 25 on the list per 100,000 people. If that makes sense. Like Chicago is known as Chirac, and there's shootings all the time, but it's not. But according to the per 100 statistics, I think it's ranked number 4 on the list. Because if you want that per 100,000, I think St. Louis is number one. Then followed by New York, then L.A. I think, or is it? Yeah, somewhere around that. But I know I'm going all over the place. I just wanted to come in and give my thoughts on this here, and just say, go out and watch this movie. Support this movie. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and watch it. If you don't want to watch a movie about trafficking, there is a site where you can donate your tickets to another place. So there's a couple of people, high end people. They said they didn't want to go see a movie about this. They're already aware of it. They didn't want to get put through this movie, and they uh, bought other people tickets to go see it. That's actually a pretty cool thing with this. Oh, Detroit's number one now. St. Louis lost its number one spot on that. St. Louis must be number two now then, unless they really cleaned up that city. But anyhow, that's my thoughts on it. Just quick 15-minute review on it. Thank you, Resolute Germ, for coming. Make sure to check Resolute Germ out. He has Saturday morning cartoons. It's always a lot of fun to be there. Thank you, Professor Brady Specs, for coming. On Saturdays at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, he does. Thank you, Professor. Now at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, he's on John DeMarco's channel, co-hosting Star Trek Jeopardy, which is always a lot of fun to watch or even participate on it. I know I need to get drunk one of these nights and come on there again. I seem to always do best after I've had about 3 or 4. But then on Sundays, they're with he's on Question of Trek's channel where he co-hosts on that, and the 5 rounds of guest questions and that. Always a lot of fun, especially with some of the chance answers. And Detroit had a drastic population decline. That makes a lot of sense. And thank you, Captain Phantom Nerd, for coming. Captain Phantom Nerd has his morning brews on Tuesdays and Thursdays. He's been doing them, so make sure to check that out. It's always fun there, fun there to check out. Now, my next scheduled stream. This was unscheduled, spur of the moment thing. But my next scheduled stream is going to be on Wednesday there, where we'll be watching Black Mirror. Then this Thursday, I will be doing my 500 sub celebration, and I will be torturing Mikey Sue's 4, who has positive comments about every show, movie he's seen. He's really hard. He's like me. He could be positive about a lot of movies. I think I can finally break him with the show I've picked. It's going to be a surprise for everybody. But hopefully he can have his camera on so we can watch his face on this. But no, he won't be having a stroke. He'll be just cringing that bad on it. So, yeah, no problem, Professor. I have no problem shouting you guys out there. And thank you for coming there. No Friday or Saturday stream for me this week because I'll be out of town there with going up to see my parents. But I should be back on Sunday for All Quiet on the Western Front. So you guys have a good night, and remember to be a gorilla.